Natalya Estemirova was one of Russia's top human rights activists. In fact, it's a measure of just how significant and important she was in the field of human rights in this country, that within the past few minutes we've had a reaction to her abduction and killing from the top of the Russian leadership, from the Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, issuing a statement being quoted on the Russian Interfax news agency, saying that President Medvedev is shocked by the murder of this human rights activist and he's ordered a probe into who may have been behind the killing. But this woman is one of the few human rights activists who was brave enough to not just work in the breakaway Russian Republic of Chechnya, but also to live there as well. And it was outside her house in the Chechen capital, Grozny, where, according to Russian prosecutors, she was abducted by at least 4 unidentified men. She was apparently seen by eyewitnesses to be screaming that this was an abduction taking place, that she was being kidnapped, but she was bundled into a car which then sped away. Her body was later found in the neighbouring Russian Republic of Ingushetia later on Wednesday afternoon with a number of bullet wounds. She'd been shot in the chest and in the head. Now, Natalya Estemirova was a major source of independent and critical information about the security situation, about the human rights situation on the ground in the North Caucasus. And so this is a very significant development that's occurred, a very tragic one as well. But of course, she is only the latest name on this growing list of figures who have been very critical of Russia's policy in Chechnya, who have met a very violent end, Hala.
And you spoke with her, you interviewed her. We're actually seeing shots of that interview that you conducted a few years ago. What kind of person was she? I mean, did you ask her about the risks associated with her work? What did she say when you told her what you're doing is dangerous?
Well, absolutely. We discussed that at length. But, you know, she was somebody who was very driven to shine a light in these very dark corners of the world. In her case, Russia. As I say, she lived and worked in the Chechen capital, Grozny, despite the very real risks to her own safety that she knew very well about, more than anyone else, perhaps. It wasn't for me to tell her that she was running a risk. I mean, she knew very well, more than anyone, what risk she was taking. She was engaged in what her colleagues have called very sensitive human rights cases. Essentially, she'd been investigating for the past several years hundreds upon hundreds of cases of torture, of abductions, of disappearances, of extrajudicial killings that have been carried out, she alleged, by members of the pro-Kremlin administration, security forces inside Chechnya. And so, you know, she was very aware of the risks she was taking. She'd seen it happen to so many others all around her for many years now.